What's up, everybody? This is Battlefield Joe 97 here, giving you his thoughts and impressions on the Video Game Awards show of 2016, or the Games Awards 2016. I'll be quite frank, I said that I never really watched the entire show itself because I was like at work. I only saw like the first half, or at least one third of the showing, basically the Kojima bit where Jeff Keighley was really like fangasming Kojima himself as a friend and possibly as a fan of his work. So that definitely was a bit like, it's heartwarming, but it's kind of like, we get the point. You know, here's your reward from last year, Kojima. Congratulations, you know. Anyhow, originally I was gonna, go into this timeline of basically the world premieres, the announcements, and even the nominees for these certain categories. But to be quite frank, aside from the next new trailer for Kojima's next game, Death Stranding, and I think Telltale's Guardians of the Galaxy, which isn't even a fucking gameplay trailer. It was just showing like the title and that was it, which basically is the same as the Batman trailer from last year. So instead, I'm mainly going to be talking about my thoughts of the nominations themselves. I'm not going to go into every single bit of detail from beginning to end of the show. It's just going to go scrolling through their website and stuff like that. So basically, the Game of the Year nominees were Doom, Inside, Overwatch, Titanfall 2, and Uncharted 4: Thief's End. Now, out of those games, I played like what, 4 out of 5 games themselves. And of course, Overwatch won Game of the Year. Now, I'll be quite frank and say that I'm kind of mixed on the whole thing because Overwatch, while a really, really, really good multiplayer game itself, I don't think it actually deserved Game of the Year itself. It needed to be like a complete package, and Overwatch is a continuing, evolving kind of game. So it's not like set in stone with some bits of content here or there to update it. And in my opinion, I think Uncharted 4 should have won Game of the Year itself because at least it has a complete single player story that is quite good and a multiplayer that is quite good as well. Have a complete package itself with some updates here or there for the multiplayer, and I think Uncharted 4 should have won the Game of the Year itself. But Overwatch isn't a bad game per se to have Blizzard have the award itself. So Overwatch Game of the Year, I'm kind of iffy on that. Uncharted 4 I would have loved to have Game of the Year. Anyhow, the best studio / game direction, Blizzard with Overwatch, DICE with Battlefield 1, id Software for Doom, Naughty Dog for Uncharted 4, and Respawn Entertainment for Titanfall 2. And of course, just like with Game of the Year, Blizzard won Best Studio and Game Direction, which I can definitely sort of agree on that because just like with Titanfall 2, Overwatch at least gives you the content for free in a daily or at least on a monthly basis. So it definitely does feel like the game is evolving from time to time. So definitely, Blizzard, you deserve that for the best studio and game direction for Overwatch. The best narrative, which I'll be quite frank here, Uncharted 4 definitely deserved that win because the single player, despite some iffy choices and decisions for its ending, I think Uncharted 4's single player was really good and definitely much better than Uncharted 3, Drake's Deception. Yeah, I think that was the subtitle of it. Best art direction, the nominees being Abzu, Firewatch, Inside, Overwatch, and Uncharted 4: Thief's End. And of course, I never really played Inside, but I think it was the same development studio that did Limbo. And just like with Limbo, it has this really black and white / gray stark contrast in this art style. And definitely, I can see it being something that can catch someone's eye. So congratulations to like Playdead Studio. And of course, the best music / sound design, Battlefield 1, Doom, Inside, Res Infinite, and Thumper. And yeah, I definitely do agree that Doom deserved that win because the soundtrack for Doom, it kind of like pumps you up for the next battle against these demons. Like it makes you want to fucking kill them, like roaring and get them. Like it's really good, the sound design itself. So definitely deserve that win for its software. And the best performance, which kind of gets me a little iffy here because let's see how many, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh wait, six. Like 3 out of the 6 nominees for this category for best performance, 3 of them are actors, and Uncharted 4: A Thief's End. And of course, Nolan North won that because Nolan North is Nolan North. He is a guy who has a lot of talent, definitely like puts his seat across multiple mediums. So definitely he was going to win this over Troy Baker and Emily Rose and basically everybody else in the nominees. So yeah, definitely Nolan North. I think he won that. And yeah, I'm skipping through some of the awards because these are some games that I have never played of or never heard of until the awards. So definitely I'm skipping the Games for Impact Award, the Best Indie Game, because I'll be honest here, I never really played that much indie games this year compared to the last year, so that's telling for me. And the Best Mobile slash Handheld Game, and the nominees, of course, they added in the mobile games: Clash Royale, Fire Emblem Fates, Monster Hunter Generations, Pokemon Go, and Severed. And of course, since these what was it? The voting for these kind of games were supposed to be for the public and not just like everybody in the industry. Pokemon Go won, despite it not being a really good game. It doesn't really have much functionality. Niantic, the developers for Pokemon Go, really let that game go. It was basically like a big advertisement for Pokemon Sun and Moon itself. So yeah, I don't really think Pokemon Go deserved that. It should have been at least Fire Emblem or Monster Hunter, even though I never really played those installments yet. Best VR game, never played any of the VR games, skipping that. The best action game, of course, nominees being Battlefield 1, Doom, Gears of War 4, Overwatch, Titanfall 2. I'm surprised Uncharted didn't make it to this nominee. And, of course, Doom by id Software won that category. And I definitely do agree on that because Doom, just like with his music, makes you pumped up to kill a bunch of demons in the next room with your guns, shotguns. It basically is a pump game to play from beginning to end. But of course, I'm kind of like in the middle of the single player, which I definitely need to buy a copy of real soon because Doom is fantastic. I don't know about the multiplayer. I just mainly play the single player of it. Anyhow, the best action slash adventure game category, nominees being Dishonored 2, the reboot or sequels ish of Hitman, Hyper Light Drifter, Ratchet and Clank, and Uncharted 4: A Thief's End. And of course, the winner for that category was Dishonored 2 by Arcane Studios. I'll be honest here, I never really played Dishonored 2. I wasn't really a big fan of the original Dishonored, but definitely I might keep my eye on Dishonored 2. Definitely I would have put Uncharted 4 there, because, what is it? Two out of the 5 games I've actually played in that category, Ratchet and Clank and Uncharted 4. So, congratulations, Dishonored 2. The best role... This is the one that I have an issue with. The best role-playing game category. The nominees being Dark Souls 3, Deus Ex Mankind Divided, The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt Blood and Wine, World of Warcraft Lineage, and Xenoblade Chronicles X. Now, 2 out of the 5 nominees and it's in this category are basically expansion packs. They're not full games, they're just extended content for games that are already old at this point. So if this was a category for like say best expansion pack slash DLC and they were included, I wouldn't have any problem with. But they like filled in the spots for games that should have honestly been in this thing, like Final Fantasy 15 or any other, which this may be like off track here, but I do have an issue when it comes to the Games Awards and basically any prominent video game award show that starts like in the beginning of December, because I don't know, I would have loved if they do these kind of awards like in January or February, at least maybe February, the same month as the Oscars, because at least it gives time for people to play these games and put their vote in, and at least gives games that are released around November and December a chance for next year in order to talk about if they're good or not. Because like what if The Last Guardian and Final Fantasy 15 released in September, they would have at least been in the nominations for these kind of awards, but they're not. So instead they have to fill in a bunch of expansion packs. And also, one of the nominees for the best RPG is that of a last year game, Xenoblade Chronicles X from 2015, December 2015. I have to be specific on that, which I'm like, why is like a last year game in the nominees for for award show this year? That's my issue with it. But anyhow, aside from those, and also the third issue being Blood and Wine winning the nomination over 2 games like Dark Souls 3 and Deus Ex Mankind Divided being brand new games released this year in order to accommodate it. So that's an issue. Best fighting game, I never played any of those ones. The full games I can't really say for certain. Best family game. Best family game. The nominations being Dragon Quest Builders, Lego Star Wars: The Force Awakens, Pokemon Go, Ratchet and Clank, and Skylanders Imaginators. And of course, Pokemon Go won because it's a free app. It was going to beat all of these other nominations, so it's just whatever. Best strategy game, Civilization 6, won that. I never played any of the other games on that category, so I can't really say for certain. Same for the best sports and racing games. Forza Horizon 3 won over the yearly installments of FIFA and MLB, NBA 2K, and Pro Evolution. And of course, we got the best multiplayer. The best multiplayer with the nominations being Battlefield 1, Gears of War 4, Overcooked, Overwatch, Rainbow Six Siege, and Titanfall 2, which I gotta say right here, Battlefield 1's multiplayer is good. Rainbow Six Siege's multiplayer is good, which I gotta say, buy Rainbow Six Siege. It is definitely the most underrated game from last year. That was also released in December 2015, which also this shouldn't even be in the awards, but whatever. Titanfall 2 is also a very, very good game as well. But of course, Overwatch being a multiplayer only game, Blizzard refining the gameplay mechanics and stuff like that, updating, improving upon the characters, and even, muting, basically, not making the characters overpowered in certain instances. So basically, they do take in considerations and fan feedback as well. So I can definitely understand why Overwatch by Blizzard Entertainment won the best multiplayer games category. And yeah, that's it for. And then it goes to the fan choices. Now I only care about the 2 fan choices. One of them being Trending Gamers, presented by Intel. And of course, the nominees were Angry Joshua, Boogie 2988, Danny, Jack, and Lyric. Of course, Boogie 2988, definitely he deserved that award itself. And funny thing about the other category for best fan creation, there were like 2 other nominees, and one of them were like Nintendo related games. One was I think it was 2 Pokemon games or something like that. But of course, Nintendo was like, you know what? Get rid of this shit of the nomination. Get rid of your damn website, or else we're gonna like cancel the award show. And Jeff Keighley, who is not affiliated with Spike TV, and he's doing these award shows for like 2 or 3 years independently. He's like, okay, Nintendo, okay, I'll take them out. But you gotta say it's fucking horseshit from Nintendo. Now look, okay, it's in their right to protect their IP in the legal sense, but like with fans, stuff like that, where they're passionate enough to be able to make these kind of fan creations, it kind of is a slap in the face. So it's kind of like in the middle kind of situation. It's like, yeah, it's justified within the law, it is within their rights, but people are not happy about it. I'm kind of in the middle of that. Anyhow, the most anticipated games lineup. One of them, the nominees being God of War, the remake, or God of War 4, but they're getting rid of the 4. Horizon Zero Dawn, Mass Effect, Andromeda, Red Dead Redemption 2, and The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. And of course, the winner is The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, which I was kind of surprised. I was expecting Red Dead Redemption 2 to win that nominee, but of course, Zelda won. Which I think at this point, I think it was like, what, the 2nd or 3rd time Breath of the Wild footage was like shown in the Games Awards show, because Nintendo keeps fucking delaying that damn game to the point where it's like, it's becoming like a freaking Last Guardian in Final Fantasy 15 kind of situation. Which I pray to God they don't delay that to June of next year, because the wait would be fucking agonizing. And I need something to play on the Switch if I ever do get it in launch day, or at least in the launch month. So yeah, it's like close to 13 minutes or so, and that's my thoughts with the award show. There's some iffy hits are there, and from what I've seen of some of the award show itself, it wasn't as cringy as it was in previous years. Definitely not as cringy as the Spike TV days of the award show itself. So I at least giving Jeff Keighley the credit where credit is due. He is trying his best to get as many people involved for this kind of show. And I do like to see next year at least improving upon it. Maybe not putting last year games in the current year of nominees. Not put expansion packs or DLC, and maybe just put it in January and not December, because it kind of like. Because at least at this point, we have like the Games Awards show, and then like 2 days later, we have the PlayStation Experience. Like, okay, can we just like give like some a break or some kind of breathing room, because it's like we have 1 day over here, then 2 days over here. It's like, whoa, you gotta calm down for this kind of shit itself. So anyhow, the Games Awards 2016 wasn't as cringeworthy. It was kind of boring in certain parts of it, but overall, it was okay.